Hi there, Bones. So we are now on lesson 16. We are now dividing whole numbers by 10. Okay, and this is in our decimals unit because when you divide a whole number by 10, it turns into a decimal. Okay, so our in focus task says 10 children share 3 bars of chocolate equally. What fraction of a chocolate bar does each child get? Okay, so you need to pay attention to how many pieces are in each chocolate bar, and then think how you're going to share each bar between 10 children. So it might be useful to find this many pieces of buttons or counters or lids or pennies and have a go at dividing those objects between 10 children, okay, and see what you find. Pause the video now whilst you give that a go. Okay, so this is how I've begun to work out mine. I've drawn my 10 children and I've got my 3 bars of chocolate. So what I noticed was in each bar of chocolate there were 10 pieces. 5, 10. Okay, so I made my chocolate bars so that they've got 10 pieces in each bar. Okay, and now I'm going to do some sharing. I'm going to share my first bar. If I'm sharing 10 pieces between 10 children, it means that they'll all get 1/10 of that chocolate bar. Okay, because this is the whole and each little cube represents 1/10 of that whole. So they've all got 1/10 so far. Now I'm going to share the next chocolate bar. There's 10 pieces between 10 children, which means they're going to get another 1/10 each. So how much have they got each at the moment? They've got 2/10 of a chocolate bar each. How much are they going to have when I share my last chocolate bar out? Let's have a look. You should be able to tell me before I do it. Sharing another 10 pieces between 10 means they get another 1/10. So how much has each child got? 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. Each child received 3/10 of a chocolate bar. Okay, let's now add another chocolate bar. Let's share it again. How many do you think they're going to have? How much do you think they're going to have after I've shared this one? I've got another 10 pieces to share between 10 children, and altogether they will each have, they will each have 1, 2, 3, 4/10 of a chocolate bar. Okay, let's try with one more chocolate bar. How much are they going to have after I've shared this one out? Let's have a look if I can fit them on. These are big pieces of chocolate, taller than the children. So each child will have 5/10 of a chocolate bar. If I share out 5 chocolate bars between 10, 5 chocolate bars divided by 10 equals, they have 5/10 each. How else could we write 5/10? What is that equivalent to? 1/2. They have half a chocolate bar each if I share out all 5 chocolate bars. How do I write 5/10 as a decimal? This is my ones column and this is my tenths. We write 5/10 as 0.5. We've got 5/10 in that tenths column. So that means that 5 divided by 10 equals 0.5. Okay, see what we did there? So let me show you what that looks like on a place value grid. If you've got one of these at home, it'd be great if you can get it out. So we had the number 5, didn't we? And we were dividing it by 10. So when we divide, we know we're getting smaller. Okay? When we multiply, we get bigger. And when we divide, we get smaller. Okay? So we need to move down the place value grid if we are dividing. So if we're dividing by 10, we had 5 chocolate bars divided by 10 children. We move back 1 space in our place value grid. Okay, so the 5 moves to the 10ths column, and then we have to put our 0 placeholder in. Okay, so 5 divided by 10, we move it back 1 space to give us 0.5. So when a whole number is divided by 10, the digit remains the same, but its place value changes from 1s to 10ths. What about if we had, I want you to have a go now. I'll keep my 10 children up there. 7 divided by 10. Let's imagine there were 7 chocolate bars divided by my 10 children. How much would they get each? And then I'd like you to have a go at 9 divided by 10. Pause the video now whilst you give that a go. So 7 divided by 10 means that they would get 7/10 each, which we write as 0.7. On our place value grid, 7 divided by 10, we move back a space to create 0.7. And for 9 divided by 10, they would get 9/10 of the chocolate bar each, which we write as 0.9. On my place value grid, we have 9 ones. We are dividing by 10, so we're going to move back 1 space and put in our 0 placeholder to make 0.9. Okay. Now, let's have a look at our next Let's Learn. I want you to see if you can find what is the same and what is different about this question. So, question 2. What if 10 children share 23 sheets of art paper equally amongst themselves? How much would they get each? Okay, let's go back to our whiteboard. I'll keep my 10 children up because we are still dividing by 10. But this time we're sharing 23 pieces of paper between 10 children. Think about what that would look like on our place value grid. We have to write in our number and then we're moving it back a space. Pause the video now whilst you give that a go. Okay, so let me just wipe off my place value grid. If there are 23 sheets of art paper and we are sharing between 10, okay, we're still moving back 1 space because we're dividing by 10. Okay, so the 3 moves back to here, but what about the 2? The 2 also needs to move back a space to the 1s column. Okay, don't forget to put in your decimal point. Each child would receive 2.3 pieces of art paper. 23 divided by 10 equals 2.3. Okay, let's have a go at, I would like you to try 45 cookies shared between 10 children. Think about the place value grid. putting your 45 on the place value grid and moving it back a space, not forgetting your decimal point. Pause the video now whilst you give that a go. So, putting your 45 on your place value grid, this is really important to remember what you've learnt about place value so far. 45 means 4 tens and 5 ones. Dividing it by 10, each digit is going to move back a space. So the 4 moves to the 1 column and the 5 moves to the tenths column. But I need to put in my decimal point. So 45 divided by 10 equals 4.5. Okay, so they get 4 wholes and 5 tenths of a biscuit. Okay, or 4 and a half biscuits each. Let's have a look at our guided practice now. So it says divide by 10. What is 8 divided by 10 and what is 42 divided by 10? Use the place value grid if you need to. Okay, remembering where each digit needs to go and how much it needs to move and our decimal point. Pause the video now whilst you give that a go. So let's have a look. If I put my 8 on my place value grid, it's 8 ones. Divided by 10, we're moving it back a space into our tenths column and our 0 placeholder with a decimal point. Okay, so 8 divided by 10 equals 0.8 or 8 tenths. 42 divided by 10, so I've got 4 tens in 42 and 2 ones. Dividing it by 10, each digit needs to move back a space. So my 4 moves to my ones column, my decimal point, and my 2 moves to my tenths column. So 42 divided by 10 equals 4.2, or 4 wholes and 2 tenths. Okay, this is really handy. If you haven't got one printed out, you know how to draw your place value grid on a piece of paper. Okay. So now it's your turn to complete worksheet number 16, pages 31 and 32. Any questions, post on Google Classroom Stream or on any private comments. Okay, we're here to support you and we like to see you achieving, so please make sure you do that. Good luck, everybody.